Hello and welcome. I'd like to show you um, about the three event timelines that are sort of identified and why they're so important. Also, the difference between an experienced event manager and a not so experienced event manager. So, first, I'm going to start with the phases of event management. So, first, we have the initiation phase. This phase is all about understanding what you're going to do with the event, the concept, what type of event it's going to be, maybe even the venue, and the feasibility study where you're going to do some financial figures and see whether the event is actually worthwhile happening. And then you do the planning. You could be doing a marketing plan, you could be doing a risk management plan. And so that's the planning phase, seeing who is going to be in the program, what sort of acts, performers, and so forth. So that's the planning phase. And then the implementation phase would be doing the rehearsals, implementing the marketing plan by putting the ads in the paper, posting it on social media. And so that would be the implementation phase. And then we go into the event phase. And I've broken them into two little categories. One is the operational phase and one is the actual event. We'll go into more detail then. And then we have the closure phase, which is all about paying the bills, doing the surveys, and wrapping things up about the event. So all this takes time. And this is why event managers have to be a master of time, because there's some key milestones at all these phases that need to happen. So this was what is what's called the critical path. Project management uses a slightly different term for critical path, but these are the tasks that need to be done day by day, from start to finish, to have to complete an event. And then within this timeline, you have the operational by hours. So this was day by day. So the closure phase and these three phases are together. And then the second part of the timeline is the operational. That's the bump in generally, which is about setting up the stages, testing, putting up the tables, chairs. So it's the bump in phase, and stage must get set up at 6. Then we put the truss in at 7. We lay the carpet down and then the tables. And so they're sort of hour tasks that need to get done. And generally that's measured by a run sheet. And then we have the event program. And this is the cold phase. This is what's really happening on the day. If it's a conference, it might be minute by minute. Guest speakers on at 6 o'clock. The next guest speaker at 6:20. And the next guest speaker at 6:45. If it's a concert, well, that could be minute by minute, or it could be even second by second. The flames have to go up at 6 minutes, 45 and 3 seconds. The red light has to shine on the DJ at 7 minutes and 2 seconds. And so that's either the minute by minute or second by second. And so that's also managed by a timeline, very tight timeline. So that way the audience has the great experience. And then, of course, the closure phase, which is part of the critical path. So that's the same as the first event timeline. So as I said, we have to get the masters about timeline. So what happens is, in events, in each phase, we have this blue area. The blue area represents all the tasks we need to get done. When we very first start the event, we've got all these tasks to do, and our job is to work with them. Woo! And by the end of it, we should have no tasks left. And same with all the other timeline phases. And of course, this represents this phase. But once we've finished the event, we've got all these tasks to do, and then we should have nothing to do at the end. And same with the other two. So there we have our tasks that we have to do. But unfortunately, when we first start in events, we don't know all the tasks. So the aqua represents the tasks that we do know. So we've got this big blue proportion. And because we don't know all the tasks, we tend not to allow for them when we first start out. And same with the operation side. We think we've got this much, but when we're on site, all these tasks we didn't identify happen to pop out. And same with the event phase, or the actual running of it. It's like, this is what we thought we had to be doing, but all this blue stuff popped up. And same with the closure, because you had so much blue in here and you made a few messes and lots of mistakes, well, then you got a bit of a tidy up, because you didn't realize you're going to have to tidy up. So this is the blue phase. So again, they're just an idea. And as you get it more experienced, the aqua phase grows, as you can see there. And then as you get more experienced, then you identify more tasks. And as when you get to the expert phase, You tend to identify most tasks, but because you're an expert, you realize there's tasks that you haven't identified, and that could be anything from 5 to 15%. But you allow for that. You allow for that in your quote, you allow for that in your timing, and you allow for that with the resources that you have available. And this is what makes you a master. This is what makes you a master of time, because you know things go wrong. And of course, then you have less blue in your operation phase. You know things are going to go wrong. You allow for it. And then you hope that you're just going to have the smidgen of things to do by when the event happens and it's smooth and it's running. So you've turned what we call chaos into order. And then your closure phase, hopefully, because you've got such a smooth run that you don't have much blue at all, and it's just a nice close off of the event. And you sign the final checks and you thank everyone and you say, see you next time. So hopefully that gives you a really good understanding of the difference between an experienced event manager to a not so experienced manager, the phases, and why it's important to be able to manage your timelines. And there's 3 different definitely techniques or processes you have to manage. The big overall picture, which would generally be managed by a Gantt chart, your operational timeline, which is generally hour by hour, and then your program, which is minute by minute. And the more experience you get, the more tasks that you identify that you need to do for the project, and therefore you end up having a smoothly run event. So I'd love your feedback. Give me some feedback what you think. I'd love you to add to this model because I'd like to enhance it, because I'd like to teach this more to other people. So please hit me up. Give me some ideas. How can I improve on this model? Thank you.